20 years ago, the first time I bought a home to live in, I had to visit it twice and tour every other home in my price range before I knew that my home was the right one for me. On the other hand, the last 5 properties I've bought, they've been rental properties. I've purchased them totally sight unseen, and some of them I've never visited in real life. I've only done video tours and 3D walkthroughs provided by my real estate agent. Because I do a lot of relocation business, thanks to this YouTube channel, a certain percentage of the home buyers I work with decide to buy their home completely sight unseen. And it's always a little nerve-wracking for me as an agent because there's the concern that the buyer won't like the home that they've already paid big bucks for, moved across the country, and when they step foot inside, it's like, what's going to happen? Some people do fly out and look at every property they're considering putting an offer on, but sometimes this doesn't work either because it slows them down and they miss out on the opportunity to make an offer and negotiate on the best, most competitive and exciting properties because they're selling fast and other people are interested in them too. They could sell in 3 days with 5 offers. So we really need to think about the strategy that we're going to use and when and where is the right time to do due diligence. Sometimes it's just not feasible. You have work, family health issues, you're doing a corporate relocation, or you just have other concerns and you're not able to come see the home in person before you make an offer. So today we're going to talk about how you can buy a house completely sight unseen and protect yourself, as well as some of the pros and cons of doing that. And you can make a choice about whether it's something that you want to be doing. I work with families like Ron and Tanya who bought a house to live in and later used it as an investment property. They never saw the property till after they closed. And I also work with families like Andrea and David who chose to renovate their home sight unseen before moving in. I'm also working with Brian and Karen, and he flies out to see every home he's interested in before deciding on whether to make an offer. So yes, you can make an offer and buy remotely in a number of different ways. You can buy sight unseen in Seattle and actually feel confident about it. And if you want to do a video chat to discuss which approach is right for you, you can schedule it with me through the link in the show notes. For now, let me walk you through how we help you buy remote sight unseen. Fingers crossed. All right. So first step, work with a realtor who's done this before. You're not just hiring someone to open doors. You're hiring someone to advise you and caution you on all of the red and yellow flags that might be in the property. So you need someone to be your eyes and ears and your nose, as well as your advocate. And it's very important that your agent is not desperate for the sale, or they might end up glossing over some of the problems with the home. They don't want you to know about those problems because they want you to buy the house so they can get paid, so they can buy their groceries and pay their food. So it's a very high trust relationship when you're in this position. When I work with sight unseen buyers, I record on my phone detailed video tours of the house and the neighborhood, 30, 40 minutes long. So you can see what's around you, including local grocery stores, freeway access, foot traffic, car traffic, dog walkers. Are there leaks under the sink? How do the cabinets open? All of these things will put hands on the house and give you honest feedback on everything that's not going to show up in the photos. If it stinks, I'll tell you. If there's noise, I'll tell you. Steep driveways, quirky layouts. If anything, I go a little hard on the house because I don't want you to walk in the door on your first trip and then see, there are these problems that you didn't tell me about. I want to tell you about all the problems. So choose a local agent who specializes in remote relocations and has a system built to do this. It's what I do every week. Also, remember that you will have a full property inspection to protect you as well and make sure there are no hidden surprises that either you and your realtor didn't see at first glance. Second thing to do is define your priorities. And this is really a big thing that we do on our Zoom calls when we're talking together. It's a very important part of the process. So before we ever look at a home, we need to get crystal clear on what matters most: commute time, school district, layout, lot size, neighborhood vibe, proximity to parks or shopping. And this prevents us from spending a lot of time on properties that might look great online, but aren't practical when it comes to your lifestyle needs. If you're not sure, I am happy to go ahead and show you different neighborhoods. We can look at the south end, the north end, the east side, all over the place to kind of help narrow down these things. So don't feel like you have to have all of your questions answered, But if you tell me, we want to have my mom come to live with us and she doesn't do stairs, then that's good to know. We probably shouldn't be looking at 3-story townhomes, no matter how cute they are and how good the location is. I'm also going to kind of guide you on any local nuisances like airplane noise, tricky traffic patterns. Maybe you're by a school or something like that. And I want to keep you up to speed on the market trends as well and how that impacts your decision making. Do you need to go fast? Can you slow it down? Are there going to be multiple offers? Can you negotiate hard, or do you need to increase the price? All sorts of different things, different years, different times of years at different neighborhoods. So we're going to go through all of that together, and we're going to talk a lot. You're going to be someone that I talk to every week, not just call like, oh, tour me this property. I want to keep you posted. You're going to be very well informed. I also want to know how long you intend to live in the property and what you want to do when you move out. Is this something that you want to sell for top dollar? Are you going to keep the home as a rental investment? Your future plans can have an impact on the type of property that you want to get into. Remember, buying sight unseen does not mean buying uninformed. When your agent lives and breathes the local market, you actually get more insight, not less. So now, number 3, let's talk about what to expect from a virtual showing. This is my behind the scenes process for my remote clients specifically. So first, we're going to meet via Zoom or a phone call every week to review new listings that have come on the market. If you see something amazing that you want me to look at before then, that's fine. I'm always on call for you 7 days a week, and we'll make sure that you get immediate video access to every property that you're interested in. But at least once a week, we're going to talk, and we're just going to touch base, temperature check, see how things are going, make sure we're not missing any properties that could be a good opportunity for you. Once we determine which properties you like this week, I'm going to go out and record video tours for you on all of them. And again, if we have an urgent situation, I can usually go out and do this on the same day. The videos are going to be very detailed. They're 30 to 40-minute tours. We're going to look in the cupboards. We're going to walk through the yard. We're going to go and drive around the neighborhood. We're going to look at the outside of the property. We're going to spy on the neighbors from the bedroom window. Okay. I want you to have the sense of everything in and around the property that might affect. And neighborhood drive-throughs show the street, the yard, the traffic, and the surrounding homes, which I think the neighborhood, especially in Seattle with like homeless people and things, that you need to be aware of what type of a neighborhood the house is in, not just the little tiny lot. So things I always check and try to point out are the lighting in each room. You would be amazed at how many homes in Seattle, which is a dark and rainy and cloudy area, do not have any ceiling lights. They were built in the 70s. They want you to use lamps, and there's no ceiling light. It drives me bananas. We're going to talk about smells, good, bad, and ugly. We're going to look for any signs of damage or weird repairs, especially like DIY things, or like, oh, this is on the wall behind the shower, or the ceiling under the shower. Like, what happened with the shower, right? Street noise, neighbors, the heat pump, how old it is. We're going to look for the homeowners association documents. What are their fees? What are their rules? How many rentals are there? And if something is off, whatever it is, I'm going to be the first one to tell you. Once you feel that you're interested in one of the homes that I've shown you, we can go back and do a live FaceTime walkthrough. You can direct me. We'll dig into the due diligence items even more and review the inspection and the homeowners association paperwork to make sure everything is looking really good. Number 4, you're going to make an offer on the home with smart contingencies. If you decide you want to move forward with a property, I'll walk you through the paperwork. Usually we spend an hour on Zoom just on the paperwork meeting for those who are so inclined. If you like to close your eyes and click, that's fine too. But I like people to understand their paperwork and what they're signing and what your responsibilities are, as well as your protections. So you'll have those protections. They're called contingencies, and they're part of the contract that give you legal and emotional peace of mind when you're buying a home remotely. And there are 3 big ones that you need to be aware of. The first one is the inspection. You usually have about 5 days to get this done. You can have your own inspection after the property is under contract, under your control. And the inspector will look at the roof, the foundation, everything in between for the house. And if it's a condo, then they're just going to look at the interior. I will walk through that report with you and help you assess, what's serious, what we want to ask the seller to fix, and what's probably not a big deal. This is also a really good time for you to fly out and look at the home and be present for the inspection. So you already know you have it under contract, and here you can just decide if you really want it for sure. Turn back now or forever hold your peace moment. So, and you can do that before your earnest money becomes non-refundable. And that means, you're only flying out once instead of every time you see a property you like. You have 5 days to get there, and it's yours if you want it. The second contingency is the appraisal contingency, and that protects you if the home doesn't appraise at the price you offered. And this is fairly unusual in our market, but it's good to know it's there. And it also confirms that the bank is a second opinion. They are a neutral third party. They think the house is worth what you've agreed to pay for it. The third one is the financing contingency, and this makes sure that if anything changes with your financial situation before you close on the home, you won't be on the hook to actually complete the transaction or lose your earnest money. I once had a remote purchaser from California lose her job while we were house hunting, and she was under contract. The good news was she was buying new construction, which had a long closing window, and she was able to get another job really fast before her closing, and so she didn't have a big income interruption. Oh, phew. But the financing contingency does give you flexibility if anything does change with your loan in the 30 to 60 days before you buy the home. And also, if you can't attend the inspection or the final walkthrough, I will go in your place. And if you have anyone here that like a family member, we can invite them to come as well. So step 5, once you're done with your due diligence, closing on the house, the actual logistics of it is a piece of cake. Remote closings are easier than ever. Earnest money can be wired or FedExed, so if you're doing a paper check. All documents can be signed online. Washington allows remote notarization over Zoom if necessary, or we can have an in-person notary in your state come to your house or your office or your Starbucks, and we'll coordinate everything with the title company, the lender, mobile notaries as needed. And once we close, you can get the keys by mail, or I can hold on to them until you arrive in town. So here is a place where technology makes these sight unseen buying operations possible, and the people in the process will make it feel really personal as you're well taken care of. And the last step is optional. I alluded to it before, but you can certainly involve someone you trust. So if you're moving here to be closer to parents or friends or anything like that, having another party involved is just another opinion. It could be a parent or a friend. They can tag along with me at all the showings, the inspections, the walkthrough, and I'll coordinate with them so they can weigh in on whatever factors, they might look at differently, right? Walkability, can I get up these stairs, those types of things. And that can sometimes just give you a little extra peace of mind. It's totally optional, but it's a great option for nervous buyers if you do know someone here. And step 7 is just know when it's time to jump. So here's the truth. You might not feel 100% confident when you're buying your house, and that's okay. No one ever does. It's scary for everybody. But if you've done the prep work, you've asked the questions, you've found the home, you'll know that it's a good deal and a good investment. And at that point, you just move forward, close your eyes and jump, and it's okay. And we'll write an offer, we'll lock it in. And if you don't like the home, you can always sell it again in a couple years, right? You're not having to live there forever. 5 to 7 years is the average holding time for a home, although that is getting longer. But typically, if you can hold on to it for at least 5 years, you're going to be able to sell and get your money back out of it. So if you're ready to start touring virtually, set up a Zoom meeting on my calendar so we can get started. And if you need help comparing neighborhoods, download my free Seattle relocation guide, which is linked in the show notes below. Now you know how to buy a home in Seattle sight unseen, but do you know which neighborhood is right for your family? Watch this next video to discover the best Seattle neighborhoods for tech families. It's linked on the screen right now. I'll see you there.